Well, Eden, I appreciate you for doing this, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you since when? Like,
it's been a few months, I think.
Been a few months. Yeah, man. I just kind of want to take this opportunity to kind of like catch up, man. That's kind of what this thing kind of is about, you know.
Yeah, the name is
a Simple Symposium.
Simple Symposium.
A little talk. I got that from Plato. I don't know if I ever told you about. There's a book called The Symposium, and they talk about love and things like that.
Yeah, I remember we spoke. We even had like a little
convo about it.
Yeah, a little preview podcast.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. We did do one, man.
We did a whole thing with it. Yeah.
As I was thinking, like, man, who should I start off? There's no better person than you, cause
nah.
That idea, man, that started right there, man.
In
the crib.
In the studio.
In the studio, man. So I appreciate you for doing this.
Of course.
We started it, and it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, we just got to build it up.
We just got to build it up, man.
The Symposium.
But I haven't seen you in a minute. So like, what's 2025 been like for you?
It's been, I guess you could say,
there's motion. There's a little slow, or what? What's the? How would you say?
I'm just trying to expand my vision, my sights a little bit.
Okay.
You know, and really hone in on my goals. You know.
For sure.
As far as like lifelong dreams go.
Yeah.
Kind of start planning for all that.
Dude, 2025 was slow, man. Yeah. It was slow for me. Like January came and went, and I was just thinking, man, I gotta get a job. I want to be a planner. I gotta get out of this current job.
Yeah, bro. Hold on, before we like move on, I gotta know what's up with you. Like, where?
What's going on with me?
Yeah, because I mean, last time I heard you were doing work with. Well, last time I remember you were doing work.
At the hotel?
At the hotels with company.
With Consortium Holdings.
Consortium, yes.
And the developer. So that was 2023, 2024. In July, I kind of was doing 2 internships at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was helping out with the final things, and I kind of transitioned out because it's the developer and his friend David. So David is he's Japanese and he's a developer, and then John is the president of where I currently work at, the nonprofit. So he kind of said, man, well, we need someone left, and if you want to do it, that's your job right there. So I saw it as a way to build my resume and get some experience in planning. And so I did try to go back, not gonna lie, man. So that's why I was kind of trying to see where I wanted to go, because I knew if I went back to him, I would probably have to commit for at least a year. And I kind of wanted to do a planning, so I kind of did take a little bit long. I did reach out to him because I wanted to do a proposal in Logan, and then he just hasn't been. Well, he's probably busy, but he hasn't been responding to my email.
You're talking about
the developer,
right.
David.
Yeah.
So I was kind of bummed out about that, but I felt that was maybe a sign, like. Maybe the point is to be work for a city and try to see the ins and outs of that. And I've been getting some motion, like interviews, second interviews. Right now I just got a third interview. So I met the director at Poway. So God willing, man, that hopefully that comes to fruition.
No, yeah, I mean if you're already thinking about, you know, ahead, you know, I feel like people dive into, you know, development, I guess,
yeah.
You know, without the projects.
Yeah.
Already in hand, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the fact that you're going in already with, you know, plans,
right,
your ideas, you know what I mean, it's like it's kind of set, you know, like that's what you what you're supposed to choose, or what where you're supposed to go for.
I know. I mean, 2025 has been like more like a solo. I've been more solo, man. So I've been kind of bummed out that I haven't been able to hang out with you, with the space, with Eli, AJ, Sammy.
Yeah, man.
Even my old friends too, like Mario, David.
None of that. You haven't hung out with them at all. I haven't seen them at all.
I haven't. Well, I mean, we all kind of like. I think this year is like we just gotta get our money up, get our future going.
That's really what it's about. Yeah. For real.
Hey, before we go longer, man, I brought some snacks if you wanna.
I appreciate it.
I don't know if you want this Gatorade.
Sponsored by...
You know?
Oh. Up to you, bro. You bought them. You
know what? I'll give you the Gatorade because Prime looks a little sketchy. might not know what it tastes like, but I think Gators are reliable.
For sure.
I just got
Appreciate
this because this is probably like the closest thing to
I needed
to
my electrolytes.
electrolytes.
Right.
But a little cheers to breaking
Oh,
this.
my bad.
It's all good.
No,
I kind
yeah.
of forgot about it too, but so yeah, man. 2025 has been just put my head down and try to get, you know, a solid job and steady job, get that experience. It's been kind of challenging, not gonna lie. I think when I go in some of these job apps, people with masters, people more experience. So
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised that I even get a second interview or things like that.
Yeah.
I might have like, what's it called? Where you think you're not, where you know, where you're a football player.
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Like, I don't feel like I
Yeah.
deserve it.
Yeah. No, that's been my like not day to day, but you know, through my journey, throughout my like career, in what I do now, I've always felt that. Even though you get your education, you fulfill what you need to fulfill,
Right.
you still feel that way. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that just like you don't feel that you deserve it, but you know, according to what I believe, I just feel like God is pitting me like into that direction. You feel me? Like
Okay.
everywhere I go, it's something about planning that caught my attention. Or even at my current job, in my current job, when I got offered my position, it was just, you're gonna help out small businesses, give them, try to help them with loans and grants.
Yeah.
And then it became more planning in that aspect. It just became more planning. Businesses were, I mean, obviously they came out of the pandemic, so not a lot of them were kind of willing to get more loans on top of that, and grants were they were kind of very picky about who they would give grants to.
Oh, okay.
So more businesses were kind of, and then there's also businesses, I mean, obviously if you're an owner, there's more owners I would think that are kind of, I know how to do it, I have my own idea, this is how I want to do it. So all they would come to me was kind of, hey, I want to do sidewalk dining, or I want to get a storefront improvement. And then that is planning, because there's municipal codes that they have to follow.
Exactly.
And yeah, if you can't even get a sign because of the zoning and things like that. So I kind of had to, even though I just thought, well, I'm just gonna kind of go door to door and kind of reach out to businesses and do events here and there. And I was kind of, that's all I do, more than anything, like planning. Hey, you want to redesign your storefront? You want help with parking? And it's kind of
Okay, so
how
you're talking
I
about
do
grants
that.
aren't just like a financial.
Like a check.
Yeah, it's not just a check. It's what you're
Yeah.
saying. It can be as something as far as the city providing support.
Yeah, the city providing support. So especially with storefront.
So they contracts, the city contracts people to do the work.
They can help you, or if you already have your own people, you can definitely
okay.
get your people to do it too. They even provide an architect, or you can also reach out to someone.
Okay, so the grant is more like.
It's a reimbursement program.
Okay.
So you'd have to put the money up first, and then after the whole project is done, you would then get half back, as far as here in SD.
Okay.
And there's a limit, so I think it's up to 16,000 back. So if your project costs 32,000, they can give you up to 16,000.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I didn't expect to be working with things like that. So that's why I kind of feel like this. I don't know. I definitely have wanted to go back to the developer and work with him. Even Consortium Holdings reach out to them, and I just been getting more callbacks from planning positions.
That's less planning and more what though?
Say it again.
When you go back to
Developing?
what it's less planning and more what? I'm talking more of just.
It is a little less planning, and it is more kind of construction.
Okay. Yeah.
The planning aspect is just making sure that your building is up to code. One of the things that they do that is cool is they kind of plan out how they're gonna use the building. So when I left, they're doing a project that they kind of set a little Uber side, because they're not providing parking. I think you can fact check me. You can double check on the website. But as far as what I understood, they're not gonna provide parking. They got that approved. Usually when you make an apartment,
Yeah.
you have to provide parking.
Yeah.
But I guess they're in a zone that doesn't require that. So
Okay.
they have no, but they did set aside a little space so that your Uber can come pick you up and you can go to where you gotta go. So that's kind of like the alternative instead of a car. And parking sucks in El Cajon Boulevard. It's pretty hard actually. Especially, I mean, I know when I invited you to the hotel,
Yeah.
it was tough at night to get parking. You remember?
Yeah. Yeah. Those
I went with Eli.
because
I
it's
went with
right by.
Eli and
It's like really. It's residential neighborhood. You have to park in the residential area.
yeah,
behind it.
exactly.
It's a little tough.
So I went with Eli and his friends, and we parked probably like. We also on the way back. We only went for a little bit. It was so packed. We had to just kind of did a tour, and then we had to walk back, and we had to go up a hill.
Yeah, that's what I
So,
was picturing too.
Yeah. But what about you? So you're still doing electrician, as far as I'm concerned.
Electrical work, yeah. So it's more of like a transition to lower voltage. So ideally, what I've done, you know, for since I left high school essentially,
Yeah.
is just regular residential.
Okay.
Uh,
And what I
you know,
liked
like-
from the projects that you showed me was there's some cool houses that you got to work on.
Yeah.
Or cool projects, basically.
Yeah, it's cool.
Maybe not all of them are houses, but
It's funny you dive into one thing and you don't, like you said, you don't see the doors that are on the other side of one door that you go through,
Yeah.
or one path that you go through. So, you know, the company that I was with recently or last, they deal with a lot of like high-end, you know, clients,
Yeah.
people that, you know,
can afford it.
Yeah, people that can afford to, you know, let's say, have you work on their house, have them say they don't like it and make you redo it again and not bat an eye about the price. You know, it's like, so, it's that kind of situation, and
Right.
you know, you're kind of forced to be a. I guess you're not forced to be a perfectionist, but it really
You don't want to do it again.
it really challenges your skill.
Yeah.
You know.
You want to do
Yeah.
it right the first time.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you're talking about people that.
Yeah, they can
you know,
afford.
that they can afford to change their mind. I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get you.
That's the. But yeah, it's been cool to, you know, learn the different. Something that people always told me going into electrical was, you know, you get to see the trade evolve. You get to see,
Okay.
you get to see it all change, and
Yeah.
you know, see all the new things come out. And pretty much in the last year and a half, that's pretty much what I've been seeing. You know, all these smart home systems, you know,
Right.
things that you can't think of Tony Stark. You know,
Okay. Yeah.
that kind of thing where you can do anything from your phone.
That's true.
So it's cool to kind of play with those kinds of toys,
Yeah.
you know, at work.
I mean, I definitely
but
don't live in a smart house, but
no, yeah,
in
me
some
neither.
of the new complexes that I've seen go up, yeah, there's definitely a lot of electrician work,
Yeah.
electrical savvy to it, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah. It's and it's funny too because I'll see it pop up on my Instagram feed. You know how it's you get because you know, as a creative person, you wanna include that in your line of work. You know, like yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course. You want to have that. You ever think about when you build the house, how you're gonna, what are the things you'd like to get in as far as electrical items that you've seen from the projects you've been working on?
Not particularly.
No
but
LEDs.
No.
Not changing your room color to.
Nah, not nothing like that. But definitely something I'm working on now that I've kind of I set myself as a goal this year to learn how to tap into hydroponics, and not hydroponics, but growing microgreens.
Microgreen.
I don't know if we talked about that.
I mean, we talked about milkweeds.
We did talk about milkweeds. Yeah.
And I was gonna bring you one because yesterday we had a plant, like planting seeds event, and the San Diego Zoo they were getting out milkweeds.
Bro. Yeah.
I forgot. I was rushing.
I was literally shopping for some this week too. Funny.
They gave me one in like a little. It almost looks like a cardboard box.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or cup, a cardboard cup, and they're like, yeah, if you have a milkweed, I mean, more than likely there's gonna be butterflies.
That's what's up.
So, yeah, man.
Shout out to San Diego Zoo for that.
Yeah, shout out to San Diego Zoo. They had and they were just giving that for free, man. I wish I would have brought it today. The seeds were so small though. It looks like leaves, honestly.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I gotta give it sunlight though. Maybe that's why I didn't bring it too, because I thought.
Wait, so it's like a sprouting? It's like a little thing, or what?
Yeah, there's a soil, and then you make a little dent. She told me you gotta make a little hole or a little cavity, and then she gave me like, it looked like 3 little leaves, and then I put the soil on it, and then when I got home, she said you can mist it or you can also put water.
Yeah.
I don't have a spray, so I poured water from my water bottle.
Yeah, as long as you don't it doesn't stay wet too long, you should be good. But usually, seeds to make them sprout you need complete darkness, and then because that way, if you have light, it introduces bacteria.
You're right. Okay.
So it's part of the process to keep it, and then once it sprouts and grows its first little sprout, that's when
you take it to the sun.
That's when you.
Okay.
Get
See, and that's what
sunshine.
not gonna lie. The girl that I've been getting serious with, she's really into flowers.
Word.
And one of the things I like, cause she has a house. So I mean, her parents have a house, but what I meant to say was that she has a place where she can plant, and then grow flowers. So I try to get her.
I envy that.
I try to get her some tulips, bulbs, and then so she kind of did get me into kind of learning more about that.
A little bit of botany, no?
A little bit, yeah. I do like flowers more than just plants.
A little horticulture.
Like, the plants that we're seeing right here. I'm not really even. I appreciate some succulents, but I like color, so that's why I gravitate more to flowers.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Cause me, I'm more like shape. Texture,
geometry.
Yeah. How things grow, if it's more of like a root, if it's a vine, if this shit like, you know what I mean, grabs onto the wall. Cause have you seen plants that grab to the wall?
I think I see.
They literally grab themselves.
Looks like a hand.
They grow into the so it's seeing things like that. Me talking about it gets me all riled up. But
and what got you into that? When do you think was the first time?
It's a generational thing. I wanna say, because it's my grandmother. Like my grandmother that first. Both my grandmothers love plants. I know that for sure. I feel like every Mexican grandmother has
They do have plants, yeah.
They
got
their
own little
setup
garden,
that they 2 or 3 in a sour cream cup, whatever.
That is true. Like, they just be putting anything in a sour cream.
The Samsung, bro. It's gonna be in.
What's the brand? Isn't it dairy? No, what's it? Daisy?
The little white,
the little white and blue.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to go and check, but yeah,
So,
they be putting anything in there.
Yeah. I mean, from there, and then my
the backyard you had.
Maybe now that I think about that, the earliest recollection of anyone in my family taking care of plants has to be my parents, because they had these very these 2 trees that were very special to them in the very first house that I grew up in.
Okay.
They had a guava tree and a lime tree, right next to each other.
Okay.
and like they gave the most beautiful fruit, you know, like nice pink inside on the guava, like bright green on the limes, you know, like real good. And those that was my dad's baby. So I think like my parents, like that kind of, that's like where the seed started. Yeah, and that's where the
seed started growing.
The seed sowed. The seed was sowed. Yeah, on Evans Street.
That's dope, man. I've never got into it. Obviously, prior to that, obviously I've always had concepts of hopefully when I'm older, I don't have to go to a grocery store. I can probably grow a couple of apples and things like that.
That's literally my mission, bro. Yeah.
But I always saw it so complex that I said, I'll probably try to see if I'm rich enough to hire someone to do it, or I don't know, maybe someone can do it. But maybe it's a little bit more easier than I'm making it sound in my mind, or that the way I'm seeing it in my mind.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it is a lot of work taking care of it, taking care of plants. I just started venturing into investing actually into more equipment to grow my own stuff at my apartment.
Yeah.
So get started on that. Hopefully the next time we have a little talk on
dude, of course.
We'll have a salad.
How we doing on time?
Let's see. 7:06. How you feeling?
I think we can go for a little bit more.
Yeah.
I just don't, all I wanted to do was, catch up.
No, I literally on the way I was like, when you told me about this, I was like, should I ask him?
What are we gonna talk about?
What are we gonna talk about? Or should I just wait and just? Because I figured it might be the type of thing where we would catch up. You know what I mean? So. I mean, that's why I was like, nah, I'm just not even going.
I'm not even
gonna call you, bro.
No, me too. I was like, any conversation that we have on the phone
can take away this awkwardness, bro. Whenever our first meeting back in a long ass time, bro.
So I've heard from other podcasters that they say that sometimes they'll have conversations, and they'll think, yo, we could have done the pod. Instead of just
talking.
Yeah. So that's why I thought I'm not gonna comment with just messaging.
You know what, bro? I love that you mentioned that, bro. Because literally recently, that I've been jumping into a lot of things this year. It's pretty chaotic.
Oh yeah.
It's ADHD, I think, too, part of it. But music is something I've been jumping into back a lot.
What are you? You used to. I don't know if you used to, but I know you were very interested in producing. And obviously that's another thing that I also saw very complicated as far as just the way music is aligned.
Yeah, you're a music lover yourself, bro.
But I always saw myself as a vessel to transmit music, not as me creating music. You feel me? I never saw myself as, hopefully I get an idea and I write it down. I just saw myself, someone makes a cool song, hopefully I can be the speaker for it, using my voice.
Okay, I feel that.
And also, there was a point in my life where I did kind of want to, because I delved so into it. I did want to maybe have a career in it, but then I kind of got maybe anxious of putting myself out in front of people. And I said, I don't know if I want my life to be that. Like,
being a face of something.
Or you know what the word was? I just didn't want to be a entertainer. I don't want to entertain people. Like, I'd rather be an architect, planner that helps people create better communities, create a better housing, things like that.
I feel that. It's like the type of thing where it's like, do you want a career that's about me or about others?
Yeah.
Me and others, Yeah.
But that was, and maybe that also came from my insecurity of not thinking I was good enough. But so that's just what I thought, and so I just see myself as a vessel. Hopefully, if someone has a good song, I can transmit it. But I don't try to stray away from classical. So there'll be some songs that are a little bit more pop, and I'll give it a shot. But I need to probably find my voice in that genre of music too.
It's just practice. That's what I've been seeing. Because honestly, when I first started like diving back into it, I was like, why am I doing this again? I was like, I sound terrible right now. But it's really just not giving up, and being like, I'll close my laptop today, but tomorrow I'll open it back up and we're gonna try again, whatever, you know?
Okay.
And it was like, I was going somewhere with this.
That you started producing again.
Yeah, you mentioned something though that made me think of
An
something.
entertainer.
Nah, before this. Damn, this
You want to think about it, or should we just?
This is bugging me, bro.
Or maybe you just keep talking about how you got back into it. You'll remember. I saw myself as a vessel, wasn't it? wasn't
I lives right now.
Wasn't it? So I like trying to remember things. So I'll always try to like. I feel like I have a good memory because I'm very nostalgic. Like I'll just remember things that should not be remembered.
I got you. So it was just the fact that, like this, right now we just jumped right into it. We didn't even
Think
really
about
talk.
it.
We
Yeah.
just start. That exact type of mindset in what I'm in my practice of like producing tracks and stuff. I try to have the same mindset, like just don't stop the creative flow by thinking too much about the turnout. Just put an idea down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and end it, type of thing, or don't get caught in this loop. Because eventually, I think that's what ended up making me stop making music. Because I would end up in a loop, in this like feedback loop, and I would just quit.
Okay.
You know, so
I mean, I was definitely
like,
there.
damn, like,
we were trying to do the pod. Obviously, we started out trying to do
you saw it firsthand, bro.
Yeah, I mean, but after a while, at first I was a little, I would get upset. And then as I kind of took on another role, I then was in your place and I kind of had to do the same. So I grew to kind of understand what it is. And so obviously we started off doing the church podcast, and that didn't work due to some politics. So it was so funny that I went to your house and just out of nowhere we were just like, you know what, let's just do it. Just see how it works, see how it comes out. But I think we didn't realize how tough it would be to make the choices. And we definitely were. Maybe I think we took like 8 months just trying to explore what would be the best way to do it. And we had some really cool ideas, some really dope. I mean, we were even gonna paint the studio, which was really sick. It was really dope. But I missed that. I missed just being there and thinking of all that and being excited to see what comes up. And I think what was better was that I was using my references. I had watched so much film, so much music. I had heard so much music. I had seen so many cool architecture, and I said,
do you feel like that hurt you or helped you?
I mean, I did get some of it out at least. There's some ideas that from there I still have as proposals, but I mean, I wish we would have done it, but obviously, I mean, life comes and you gotta get your money up. So what happened to me when I was placed in your shoes was David and I, we wanted to do it, and he wanted to do the podcast more about topics about dating and love and things like that. And I thought it was cool. After a while, I kind of saw, well, how many topics are we going to be able to talk about love? Is it going to be repetitive? But the first one came out pretty good. We never put it out, but I thought it was dope. And, from that came this, to where you saw the ratty shell, and remember the screenshot I sent you? It was us in the red chairs, and then the shell in the back at Seaport. Nah,
bro.
I think I FaceTimed you and I showed you. Maybe I didn't send you a picture, but I have it. I have it in my iPad, so I'll show you after. So, and then I took on being the choir director at church, and I did that for 6 months. And I just got so into it, and I practiced. And tomorrow I get the opportunity again, just to do it for tomorrow. But I got so into it, and I knew I had to study the music. So I kind of did tell David, I kind of was in your position, I kind of said, man, I only have like, I need to do this time to practice, so we have to find a time, and but then he got a job, and so he got tied up in that, and we haven't been able to hang out. But I didn't try to get too. It was upsetting, but after there was a point in that time where I just thought, well, it was a great ride, man, and more than that, it just got us closer. So
No, yeah, bro.
it was dope. I mean, from that we went to concerts together. We went to LA together, which was
Yeah.
freaking dope.
Yeah. No, you're definitely a homie I did not expect to have. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
I didn't even know you. I mean,
Yeah.
I had known of you.
even know you.
I had seen you. And
Yeah, like we from time to time at High Tech, bro. Oh,
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because Eli's my
Your twin.
my best friend.
He's a twin.
He's my closest. So, and I hope to have him on. I know he's a little shy, but I hope to have him on
We'll
and
put him right here.
talk more about the choir life. Yeah, we'll put just a
Unfortunate.
a funny picture of him. So, yeah, I thought it was blessed, man. I was always looking forward to, and it was a little upsetting, but you gotta get your independence at some point. So
Yeah, and at the end of the day, bro, I think the podcast kind of like took different shapes, and I think this shape is going to be the coolest because it's the type of thing where it's you got swept up in your path, I got swept up in my path, Eli got swept up in his, David in his,
Yeah.
all the members in their own, and it's like the times that we do get to come together, we can do this. You know what I'm saying? We can have a symposium.
we can have a simple symposium, no formal, so we don't get people trying to
Have it be a catch up, and the type of thing where we, I guess, I'm shaking, bro. I'm like cold. Right
It
now.
is cold, man.
I like lost my train of
So,
thought.
but we're doing the sacrifice, so you can see the cool arc in the back. You know what I like about, as I was walking from the trolley station, and I've never taken the trolley here, so I kind of took it as an opportunity to do it.
Yeah, that kind of took me by surprise. If I would have taken the trolley, it probably would have taken me like an hour and 20 minutes because it's a lot of stops.
It took me an hour, and I brought my book. I'm reading a book about slavery and prostitution.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's just someone from UCSD. Shout out to Harrison up in the LA area, somewhere up there. But he connected me to a UCSD teacher who was just, I guess he had books. So that's how I got my library. Because he just gave me a bunch of boxes of books that were related to planning. There's a little philosophy there. That's where the book came from, the one that I gave you, the green one.
That was what I was about to mention. That. Yeah, I still have your book.
And
I didn't get it back to you, did I?
No. But I hope it works. I hope it helps.
No.
If not, give it back to the little public libraries that you've seen around in the.
No, I actually need to. I probably got a quarter of the way through that, but I need to finish it first. Because you told me you didn't read it all, so I gotta get that back to you.
Yeah, I gotta read it too, man. So I've been trying to read all the books, and one of them was that like slavery thing or like the modern slavery that is happening like in third world countries. And I just said, man, if I get something out of it, cool. So I just read it, but I've been trying to read like 30 every day for 30 minutes at least. Like the book.
Yeah.
And so it's been cool. It's been dope. I just gotta find time, honestly. And if I don't wake up early, then
It's hard not to be burnt out easy in this day and
bro.
age, bro.
I just out of nowhere I'll just remember, damn, I've been 20 minutes scrolling on reels. I gotta go, and then I opened my laptop. I was like, oh shoot, yeah, I was about to do this right now. I just took a little,
straight up.
what's it called, a little doom scroll.
I'm guilty. Yeah.
A little doom scroll.
Little baby doom scroll. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've been doing little projects. I have my art page up too, where I still watch fashion, man. And I found a better way to use. I would watch the videos, but now I just watch the slides and I just go, psh, 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 and then they just show me. So That's the way I keep up, and I just select the best.
What's the lady from Devil Wears Prada? The main
The girl?
lady from
Oh, like her character name, or based on the real life?
Nah, her character name.
Miranda Presley,
Yeah.
or Priestley, I think. Based on, according to sources, based
I'll
on
call you Mirando.
Miranda. She's based
Okay,
on
that
Anna
fits.
Wintour. I guess she's like an actual,
Okay.
those bosses that scare you.
Right. No. Yeah.
But yeah, so I was walking up here to UCSD, and I don't know if you also took a little tours you're walking. I know you walked from that, but dude, this campus is pretty good. I love SDSU. That's where I went, and it's a little bit more. This does look like apocalyptic
Yeah. No
campus.
doubt. No doubt.
But I do like that they have a bunch of spaces, like public spaces. In San Diego State, it's kind of the parts where you do have public space. Maybe I need to explain it a little bit more. But just the fact that we're able to do this right here, I think in San Diego State there'd be more people walking, or like more interruptions. And the only parts that are kind of cool over there are spots that are kind of brutalist, that they just concrete, and then like nobody's really here.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to think, like, why is it? What is it about this space that people don't want to walk up here?
I mean, there's no parking for one.
Well, yeah, there's also no parking.
Actually, there is parking, but it's a little far. I don't. That's a good question.
I think it like discourages you. Maybe like it's just open space. And when we went to the hotel, when I took you to the red the red couches that are all the way at the top. You remember the hotel I took you and Sammy, Eli? Or maybe I didn't take you there. Maybe I'm just... No?
What hotel was
Bonaventure in LA.
that? Oh, in LA? No, I didn't go to that one.
But there's like little pockets of...
I
And you can...
remember the Interstellar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I also was thinking, like, what is
set,
it?
yep.
And it's also a brutalist. And I don't know why it gives so much space, but nobody uses it. Like, you can make... I could have a date up there, and we'd have so much privacy because nobody is ever up there. Just like right here, there's...
Yeah.
I feel like because we're on a campus, you'll see people walk by, but other than that, there's really nobody chilling out here.
I mean, it's kind of like it shows you kind of like what it's used for. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think, or it kind of gives you a sense of what it's for. So if it's not look like it's meant for anything,
Yeah.
I think that's.
You know what I
Yeah.
feel like? I feel like it's a platform for the building, and so you almost feel like you're on stage, and you're like, I gotta go take my seat down that way so I can see the show because I'm on stage. So I'm not really supposed to be here.
Oh, okay. I think I follow you. Almost
Yeah.
like the building is a trophy in itself, and this is where
Right.
it sits,
Yeah.
and you can't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you almost feel like out of place, like, sheesh. So, but it's a dope.
I'm stepping on you right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And every time they talk about brutalists, they always bring up this library.
Yeah.
And there's like there are other buildings out there, but yeah, this is the Dr. Seuss library.
There
He's
is.
over there.
Good old cat, man. How we feeling, bro?
Pretty good. How's time? I know you
think
got
it's no, yeah. 7:24.
I wanted to ask you I've always asked every time someone tells me that they're a psychiatrist or what is it called? Not a sociologist, but a psychologist. I always ask them if they think that consciousness is dependent on the brain, or if the brain is dependent on the consciousness. And for those that might not know what that question is, it's more of asking, do you think that we have the concept of consciousness because we have our brain, or we're able to know what the brain is, call it the brain because we're conscious? What do you think?
Does consciousness rely on the brain?
Like if someone doesn't have a brain, or like, is the brain what gives you conscious, or is the conscious what makes you understand that you have a brain? You know what I'm saying?
No.
Well, anyways, I was just thinking about that, and I just wanted to ask. I always ask people that are psychologists, because
What do they? I'm just curious. What's the?
so for
common
example,
answer for that? That's
there's
like,
people that say you're conscious because you have a brain. So you know you're conscious because you have a brain, because when someone shoots you in the head, then, well, you don't remember, you're done, right? You're not conscious anymore. You're not alive. That's one side of the argument. The other side of the argument is, well, it's almost like saying, well, no, the brain is dependent on the consciousness, because how can you see if you're not conscious? So it's then they use examples like, can you picture pink? Right? You see the color. Can you picture green? Yeah, you can see the color. What about can you picture a triangle? Yes, but you need to add a color so you can see the outline. Can you picture an invisible triangle? Not really, because you still need a subjective matter. You still need a color. Like even the numbers, you can't really see them. There's just a construct in your mind, and you can write them down if you have the subjective matter. You have the color, or if you have the leaves. So that thing, that number, that object that you see is dependent on the consciousness, that you're conscious of it. So that's why they say you only see the brain.
Well, yeah, okay.
Because
I
you have
guess,
the consciousness.
I guess I'm looking at it in a more like logistical sense, because it's like you're saying you're talking about the subject matter, but if you don't,
If you don't have a brain, then how can you be conscious? It's one of the arguments out there. It makes sense, but I thought the other one made a little bit more sense.
I guess what am I trying to say, that consciousness does not depend on the brain, or that it does depend on the brain? Because if it doesn't depend on the brain,
Then what?
then the brain is not a brain.
Then the brain is not where we get our consciousness from.
Okay, yeah.
And that's been a question, because they're like, I think the general thought out there is that the consciousness is inside the brain, because that's where you get your creative side, you get your math side, you get all of these qualities that make you think and make you aware. So I first heard this, and then I was just kind of consumed by the question of it.
Now you got me consumed by the question.
And it makes sense. Obviously, it makes sense.
I don't think I could answer that in like 30 seconds.
So I just wanted to put that out there, just kind of give you something to think about.
I'm going to be thinking about that every night, I think, before I go to sleep.
Let me ask you another philosophical question. Do you think there's free will, or everything is determined? That's another hard question, because a lot of people, a lot of scientists think everything is determined. There's no free will, but I'm religious, so I've been taught that there's free will, and I do believe there's free will. But when I'm faced with it, I do kind of have to contemplate if but I believe there's free will.
I think there's free will. Yeah, I would say, as far as if everything's predetermined, I think partially, in the sense that unless I I can be aware, like I'm aware that my current path that I'm taking in life is gonna lead one way,
Right.
And that's one reality, that's one outcome. but using my free will, I know that I can change that, or
Right.
forcefully change that.
Yeah.
And now I can use my free will to change that outcome.
Yeah,
So there,
yeah.
like, I guess what I'm trying to say, there is a predetermined outcome, but you are able to change it with your free will.
I think so too. I think
If that makes sense.
it's a little bit easier to understand when you talk about perspectives. If you think of your intuitive perspective, your first person perspective, you have free will. You say, I want to pick this cup of coffee. I want to sit like this. And you just do it, right? You make those actions. And then you think, man, I didn't get this job, or whenever you go into a slippery slope problem, it's always, man, I didn't do these actions, so now I'm here. And now I have to pick myself up. And now if I want to be successful, I need to make these things. Or obviously there's pessimistic people that say, well, no, everything's determined and I'm gonna stay like this and there's nothing I can do. But so I think there's free will if you look at it like that. First person perspective, you have free will, you can do things. I think only when it's third person perspective, you see someone and you kind of understand, well, yeah, because he grew up poor, then he didn't go to school, and so you kind of see the determinism, that concept of being determined. When you see it from third person perspective, I think.
So there's a limited extent to what is predetermined.
I think they both are the same, and I would say in order to reconcile them, it's like God's intentions, and you just kind of match it to. There's also a part of you that wants to do it, and that when it aligns, it's almost like determinism and free will existing together.
Okay. Do you think that kind of lines up what I said, with what I said, kind of?
I do think it does align.
That was a dumb question.
Because
is that what you were trying to say?
That's what I was trying to say.
Word.
It's maybe I wouldn't say there's partially. I would just say that it's easy for us. I mean, look, think about determinism.
I
as
see what you mean. So you see it more in a religious sense, and like there's a all powerful being that's
I do think
determining things.
I do think there's a God determining things, and then I also think that I have this innate this like part of me, this free will, that I just my free will is aligned with the things he's determining, and the things that he's allowing me to do. It happens to go with his plan. Almost like when you wake up and you say, okay, I'm gonna go to work today, and I'm gonna go whatever you think of doing. God's plan is being aligned with your way of being at the same way. It's almost like if you ever are depressed because you're not where you want to be, you think of yourself and you're like, man, I could have done this, I could have done this. And I think the way it can help you is if you think of it in a third person perspective, you say, well, I was going to be here because the stats say. You can almost kind of make yourself, like, kind of pick yourself up a little bit more to think that not the whole pressure is not on your own decisions, not on your own free will. There's also a part out there, there's a plan out there, you know, and it's aligning with your path. Because when you start looking at the world as determined, it's like, well, then what I'm thinking, this mindset, or these thoughts that I have right now, I want to be an architect, I want to get fit, I want to do this podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, then where does that come from? Then if everything is determined, then what I'm doing is just dust. It's just a facade. I have actually no real thoughts.
Okay. Yeah.
But I try to use it as a way to pick myself up when I'm like, man, my decisions did it, and then I look, well, hopefully this was God's plan, you know, because if not, then it's almost and it even goes so far as to think, is there actual beings out there in the universe, or is it just us? And when you think it's just us, you're like, oh shoot, it's only us in this planet. So you can kind of, when you think of everything as free will, and your decisions, you can kind of kill your mood, you know, kill it like your goals. Like, man, I messed up, I did this, and then when you think of it from a third person perspective, when you see why someone is not why someone's homeless, you're like, well, look, all of these actions lined up for him to be there. So I try to use it as a way to kind of pick myself up, like, okay, these actions did lead me to come here, but I have a free will that I can get myself out of here. And then it's like I use it as a coping mechanism, but I do think those like doing some actions will have a outcome, but you do have a free will to change the outcome.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
But it is troubling because you're like,
I have trouble reconciling that idea of that like, because you say
it is
as soon as you hit God's plan, you're like, that's predetermined,
right?
So it's like, where do you fit the idea of
the
you
free will
being able to change that?
Right, and it is.
Is that what you're saying? You know, is that you change God's plan?
I would say I believe more not in changing his plans, but just that since I don't know them. See, like you don't know, I don't know what God's plan is, so I can't say I changed it. It's just in the moment I'm hoping, I'm seeing where I'm gonna lead. I'm seeing, oh my God, I don't have a job. You get me? I'm gonna be homeless. I'm hoping that that's not the plan. You feel me?
Yeah.
And then the steps that I do, and I kind of, there's kind of like sometimes a selfishness that I kind of say, like, I did this, and it's partially true. I do have a free will. I did make some things, but I also think you reconcile them both by saying, well, I reconcile them both by saying, thank God that my decisions aligned with the plan of God to be in this position rather than maybe this other one that was a harsher situation. But it is those two ideas, free will and something determined, they do go against each other.
Yeah.
So it is really hard to even take a moment to try to explain it.
Yeah, like I want to go home and write this on a whiteboard and like try to figure out,
exactly.
like, even just logically, because it's
right. So
it's tough.
So,
but either way, it's up to action.
It's up to action. So if you think that, I would just say that because sometimes I think you think, damn, my actions led me to do this. You have a free will to take action. And then when you feel like, I don't know what to do, you see, when you change perspectives, I think you understand a little bit more. So when you are really into like the first person perspective, you can think that you're not a good person, or that your actions are leading you somewhere you're not supposed to. And then when you see it from a third person perspective, you almost are like, okay, well, I don't have control of it. There's something out there. And you can kind of balance it where you can kind of not be so consumed with like, I need to do this, I'm not good enough. And then kind of like step back and say, okay, there's something out there too that is either helping me out or, you know, putting me in this pathway. It is hard to explain though, as I'm talking, it is getting harder to explain how both coexist, you get me?
Yeah.
But it is a hard question that I heard, and it did kind of challenge me because I always believed in free will. I do believe in determinism as well. I think both exist.
Yeah, it's like.
But it challenged me when I first heard that.
It's like quantum physics and like Einstein physics,
Or Schrodinger's
Yeah.
equation.
trying to reconcile to
Like the cat's either, you heard like the cat?
it's either dead or
It's
alive.
either dead or alive, but you will only know until you open the box.
Yeah.
Until you take the action and you actually open it. So, yeah.
But I mean, at least we got that on tape.
At least we got that on
Us
tape.
Struggling to
Yeah.
reconcile those two things.
So I've been kind of going down that path because I've been interested in exploring what people have to say about is it atheism?
Atheism.
About atheists, scientists. You know, a lot of them don't believe in God. So I like hearing what they have to say and their challenges, their explanations, and I think it helps me to understand their perspective and puts me in a position to kind of see if there's an answer. You get me?
That's a good. Actually, bro. Now that you say that would be an interesting topic of conversation because it's something that I've been thinking about also like recently. Kind of want to touch on, or I wouldn't mind touching on. You know.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. If we got a chance to do this again,
we have a chance to do it again. Definitely, bro.
we'll dive into that other.
Those other quirks
field.
and questions, and I'll bring more. There's a lot of questions that make you wonder and challenge you. But I just wanted to give you a chance to see if you had ever thought about those type of things.
No, absolutely.
They're brain teasers. They like, what the heck? It goes counterintuitive and it pits you against what you've probably believed. So, but I like entertaining some of those things.
No, yeah. No, I appreciate the invitation, brother.
Of course, man. I appreciate you for doing this. Is there anything you wanna leave on the record? Anything you're working on currently? Any socials?
No. We keep on the DL.
Keep on
Like
of
always.
course. Okay.
No, yeah.
All right, let's finish it off with what you hope to accomplish 2025.
What do I hope to accomplish? You know what? I just, as long as I have a clear vision of what I need to do to reach my goals and my dreams in the future, and my finish line is, setting myself up for success this year is what I'm after. Yeah.
I'm in that. I hope I complete my project. I'm a little scared too of getting like a 9 to 5 and losing track of my dreams, but I always do have it in the back of my mind. Like the whole point is to do something get my own firm and make my own projects.
Yeah, man.
And then as far as socials, social life, seal the deal. And I hope, and I hope you're a part of my process. I'll definitely be part of your process.
No,
Any support?
No, yeah, man. He's on the favorites list, bro. On the call list, bro.
Yeah, you too, man. Well, let's wrap it up, man. I appreciate you for doing this.
No, of course.
Any other chance you get, let me know, man. Let's do this again.
Raw. We'll do it.
Raw.
No cuts.